Hey everybody, so I got a good case for you, but before we do that, I kind of want to show you my favorite thing in my house as of right now. So right here is my grandmother when she was a baby. This is 1939, 1940. I think it's 1939 because she was born in April. This is her daddy. This is my great grandfather who was adopted, and he's the one that kind of got me started in genetic genealogy. And funny enough, my wedding anniversary is actually his birthday. And then his wife, my great grandmother, and then this is his mother, whom I'm named after. I carry her name. This is his adoptive mother, by the way, not his birth mother. This is the woman who adopted him. Loved him fiercely, so much so that I ended up with her name. And then my great grandmother's mother, that's her. And another little funny thing about her is that she was a nurse, the only nurse in our family, and she became a nurse afterwards. And both of my children are going to be nurses too. They're in nursing school. So they're going to be the first generation since my great-great-grandmother to become a nurse in the family. So I thought that was pretty cool. So about this case. So I'm sitting here working this case. She came through screening and she was kind of a little on guard. Like she was a little nervous about the whole process. She was kind of standoffish in a way, and we later found out that was because she was so nervous. She found out that her mom was not very kind to her, and so she was like, okay, mom's not very kind to me. I don't want to go through this rejection twice. This is somebody who was adopted. She had already located her birth mother prior to coming to us, and she was wanting to know who her birth father was. And because of that experience with her birth mom, she was really, really shy and scared, and all of these emotions going into that search for her birth father. And she almost at one point said, you know what? Never mind, I changed my mind. I don't want to know. And we kind of said, okay, we respect your wishes. We understand. Think about these situations and let us know if you still want to stop, because we won't look for somebody if you don't want to look for him. Like, we understand that those emotions are really strong that go into that. But these are some of the reasons why I would suggest to look into finding who he is. And number one is always that medical history. Always, always, always that medical history. So we gave her a couple of reasons why to reach out. Maybe there's some half siblings out there that you don't know about and things like that. Gave her all of these reasons, and I said, just sit and think about it. We will pause everything. We'll stop looking, and you come back to us in a week or two and let us know how you feel. And so she did. She sat there and thought about it. It took her about 10 days. And she's like, you know what? You're right. I want to make sure that for my children's sake, that there's nothing hiding medical-wise that I need to know about, that I needed to let the doctors know. For that very reason, we'll search it out. I'm okay with it now. So we went ahead and started to pick up the case again, and we ended up locating a most recent common ancestor. And her case wasn't quite easy, but it wasn't quite hard either. It just was a lot of mapping, and it was very time consuming expanding those lines, because there was about 10 to 15 kids per line that we had to expand on. So it was very time consuming, but all the puzzle pieces were there. It came together beautifully. We were able to locate the grandparent line, which means one of those sons would be her birth father. And lucky on her case that there was only one son. So we were able to dig up as much information as we could on him and give her that information. I found a couple of newspaper articles from when he was in high school. I found his yearbook photo and his parents' obituaries and 2 of his sisters' obituaries too. So I gave her all of this family information. And the birth father was still living, and he had 3 children. So I give her all of that information. I give her all of that information, and she runs with it. Like, I was shocked. I figured she would be a little more hesitant, a little more cautious about reaching out, but no, she was excited. She was like, okay, I got this. I'm going to call him. And she did. She picked up the phone and she called him, and she did have all of her questions written down beforehand, like I'd asked her to, just in case this was the only time that she talked to this gentleman. But she lucked out. Like, she called him, and he was really receptive and really happy. He said, I knew your mother, and we had a great relationship that was very, very brief. It was a very quick whirlwind type of relationship with a lot of emotions involved. And they ended up just kind of splitting apart after they had moved away from each other. So that's just kind of how that ended. He never knew that she existed, never knew that the birth mom was pregnant, none of that. But he was excited and even told his wife and his children about our client that day. Like, that day. How amazing is that? So I was super excited that she was able to put her reservations aside and move forward, because she would have never had this happily ever after with this case. And that doesn't happen very often. I was not expecting it to be a happily ever after, because most of them are not. So I was super excited for her. She was super excited. But that's it for that case. I'm going to go ahead and go back into work. I don't want to, but I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye, everybody.